becomes twice as strong and twice as knowledgeable. Thank you.
If you would indulge me for a minute, my name is Jody James. I'm the National Director for Education Activities for Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And I want to speak on two levels. First of all, I want to speak on behalf of the fraternity, and then I want to speak on my own personal level. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity has been around for 103 years. We're very fortunate to have two programs, in particular, Project Alpha and Go to High School, Go to College, which speak to issues of meeting students where they are and then taking them to the next level. On that same piece, as a teacher for 10 years, and my mother is upset with me. She's 92 years old. She's upset with me because I left the classroom to become a director for education activities for Alpha Phi Alpha and left the administrative role. But I saw, for teacher preparation and cultural sensitivity, I asked my teachers to come with me to get on a yellow bus, to get on a yellow school bus and go to the projects. I told them they could not take their cars because I didn't want anything to happen to their cars in particular. Now, my teachers and paraprofessionals were truly astounded that I would even make this request of them. And it was not mandated, but I asked them all to come, and they did. When we went to the projects, we were so stepped back because what we saw, we really, I don't know if we were ready for. First of all, we knocked on some of the doors where we thought our students lived, and they didn't live there. They may have lived 2 doors down at Grandma's house. We had the opening of a room, and in that room we had refreshments. And they made an announcement for the parents to come down to the refreshments. They didn't come. So what am I saying about being sensitive, culturally sensitive to our students' needs? Our students come to the classroom with lots of baggage. They come with stuff, and we don't know where they're coming from because we don't know about the bullets that are going over their heads as they sleep each night. We don't know about the cursing and the fighting and the not living in the right home that you're supposed to be living in. We don't know about how they talk to one another as far as mother to daughter and father to son, and if there's a father, if there's a mother, if there's a parent around, if the children are raising themselves. And so all this thing about being sensitive to our students' needs and meeting our students one-on-one, it felt like I was asking the teachers to do IEPs for each student. And in some cases, that happened. Because in 5th grade, when you get to 5th grade, you can't expect a teacher to do an IEP and ask the student to be placed into special ed. They're on their way to middle school. So is it too late? I don't know. So I spoke to both those issues. First of all, how Alpha Phi Alpha can meet a student where they are, particularly African-American male students. Here of late, we're taking on the girls because we're seeing that it has to be an interactive thing. So the girls and the boys come together for the opening, and then they separate, and then we bring them back together. Go to high school, go to college. We encourage our students to go to high school, to finish high school, regardless of the situations that may come past their way. You have a mentor in the form of an alumni brother, or you have a college brother that is assisting you in the process. And how do we as teachers be prepared? I think it's, I think my mother said it easy. She said, you stay in that education field because that's where you're going to, they're always going to need teachers. But you got to have a love for it. And you got to get down to the grassroots of it. And all of it is not etched in the paycheck that you get home, that you take home. It's not in the paycheck, but it's in the love of what you have to do and how you respond. And no, the top trickling down is not always going to be the answer. Sometimes it's got to be the bottom up, because young people, we have 3 and 4 and 5 jobs now, trying to find our way. We're not complacent with staying in a place for a long period of time unless we truly love what we're doing. So I speak to teacher preparation. I speak to cultural sensitivity, and I speak to students, meeting them where they are.
Let me, well, if you would like, I don't want to quench the spirit. Obviously, she was moved. Let me ask our panelists if you wouldn't mind just sharing with us, if each of you would just do sort of a brief kind of a wrap up, and then I will have some closing comments, and then we will end the program. Dr. Gilbert.
I just want to say thank you very much again for allowing me to be here today. I do want to make a couple of comments. Number one is I think that if we are to make change in our educational system, I think it has to be done with the help of everyone, even the people sitting here today. We have to go back to our local communities. We have to provide the information, what it is to our principals, administrators, community members, state legislators, whatever it is. We have to do that. The second thing is that I like your comment about the love for what you have to do. That's the only reason why we're in education today, is because we love working with children. And that's the reason why I'm here today, because I want to make a difference, not just for Native children. I want to make a difference for all children. And that's why the reason why I'm here. And if we can take what we have learned today and take what we want to do in the future and carry it forward, I think this is a good starting point. We've been talking about these issues for years, and I think now it's time to put our foot down and to say this is what we want to do. So thank you very much. And I do want to make one quick comment about your cultural sensitivity. Yes, that's very important. I highly agree with you. But what I also find discouraging is that there seems to be a disconnect between teachers and students. And what I mean that is the majority of our teachers don't live in the communities in which our students come from. And if we can only experience that by going to the projects, for example, by going to the rural communities where our kids come from, where they ride a bus 1 hour in, 1 hour out, whatever it is, I think that would be a good starting point. Thank you.
I think we should remember the young man who was a valedictorian of my son's high school graduating class this year. I think we should remember him because I think this is a very sad example of what is indicated as a well-educated person. And I think we need to keep in mind that what we're asking for in culturally based teaching is very important for middle-class white people, for upper-class white people, because we are living in a global economy. And if we're going to continue to be as parochial as we are and make this young man our valedictorian, then there is no hope for this country. I mean, we are not asking for something that's just for Latino students. We're not asking for something that's just for African American students. We're not asking for something that's just for working class students. We're asking for something that will benefit all students. And I think if there were the research there, it could be proven.